Brock also stopped the fight.
Yeah.
Pikachu had the swirl eyes showing that it had fainted. This was after the fight that Ash decided to shock the crap out of Onyx. He's just like, all right, let's do it. It's go time. And he's like doing, Pikachu's doing backflips. he's just going off. The two Metapod just going at it by not doing anything. I know that sounded sexual. I said I was done with the dick jokes, but I guess we're back at them. And Ash and the samurai guy, they're just sitting there constipated. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of our Pokemon watch along by us. I was trying to figure out how to work in the Life is Daijoubu name in there. I couldn't do it right though. But yeah, this is Life is Daijoubu, the Pokemon watch along episode 1, where we will be going over episodes 1 through 5 of the original Pokemon anime. For now, original. Later on, we're getting into the other seasons as we go. But for now, this is episode 1, going over episodes 1 through 5. And because this is episode 1, we don't really have a perfect set format of how we're going to do this. We're going to be kind of going along and figuring it out as we go, and hopefully it's not bad. I think it's going to be funny just based on the conversations we've had with already about the episodes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. We've got no news and stuff. We're going to save that kind of stuff for the main show.
Well, I guess before we jump into it though, did you guys watch this as a kid? Like for me, this is such a nostalgic trip. Yeah,
I watched this as a kid. Totally.
What about you, Thane?
I watched it as a kid, yeah.
This was my first, Pokemon was my first anime I watched, but it was also the first thing I can remember as a child falling in love with. It was Winnie the Pooh and Pokemon. I had a Pokemon Nintendo. I had a Pokemon jumpsuit. I had Pokemon blankets. I was a Pokemon freak.
Well, you had one of those Pikachu N64s?
No, I wish. I just had the combo, the N64 Pokemon Stadium combo.
Cole, I'm pretty sure you know, but do you have the N64? Oh,
no.
Those are pretty expensive, aren't
They're
they?
ugly too.
They're fat.
They don't look very.
They're like white boys.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the color of the Hot Wheels PCs.
Yeah. Same vibes.
Just video on.
Yeah,
a video on someone making like a gaming PC out of one of them.
The Pokemon anime was my introduction to the Pokemon series, from what I can remember anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember what I got into first. I know it was all around the same time when I started watching the show, and my brother got Pokemon Yellow on the Game Boy. Like, literally, all that kind of happened was just a blur back then. But I know I had the VHS tapes. I had them all on VHS. Well, maybe not all of them, but I had a good majority, especially a lot of these early, like, episodes 1 through 30 or 40 probably I had on VHS. And I would just watch those on rerun over and over and over again.
Totally.
Lots of fun stuff.
What was your introduction, Thane, real quick, to the Pokemon franchise? Do you remember? VHS.
Oh,
so the
had
anime?
Tapes.
You had the tapes, too.
My parents didn't have cable. They only had like the antenna stuff, so my mom would just buy me, or I'd rent the VHS tapes.
Yeah. See, I want to say we had cable, but like I don't know if we had the channels specifically that Pokemon aired on, because I know we had the VHS tapes, but later on when we got like the Dish satellite, like Dish Network or whatever, I remember watching Pokemon on that as it came out on Saturdays. Like I think that had to have been around like the end of the Johto stuff and the beginning of the Hoenn or the advanced era.
Yeah.
That's around when I was watching it on 4Kids. I don't think it was called Kids WB. I think it was just the 4Kids channel, but for some reason I always think Kids WB. I don't know why. Maybe that was the movies or something, but
no, I know what you're talking about. I think it both blends together for me as well.
Yeah.
Well, this is the weirdest looking Pokemon I've ever seen, but maybe if you want
to take that
Gen 10
Pokemon.
It's Pochinsa.
Yeah.
It's not even bad, Sky. It's not even bad. It's not a bad name.
Thanks.
It's Teethter. Get it? Because
Sky's was better. I'm sorry, Sky. I'm sorry, Thane.
Pochinsa.
Yeah.
Pochinsa. Yeah, so like we said earlier, this is going to be episodes 1 through 5. At some point, we will be covering the movies. We're essentially going to be going roughly in chronological order, starting, obviously, with the original Kanto series, the Indigo League, if you will. I think that's what they actually officially call this season, is the Indigo League.
Yeah, the Indigo League.
And so, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to hit up the Orange Islands at some point, wrap up the Indigo League stuff, and then head over to Johto and so on. But like I said, the movies will be kind of here and there. We'll let you know beforehand. I think I have the schedule up for all the way through February right now on our community tab on YouTube and our Twitter.
See, what I'm really excited for,
You're
last
good.
thing, is I'm excited for seeing when the games and the anime, like the integration happens, because I remember watching through Indigo League and even some of the early movies as a kid, and I would see Pokemon that were not part of the 151. I'm like, who the freak's that dude? And it freaked me out. And I remember being so angry as a kid. I'm like,
Togepi,
well, Togepi,
and then Meryl.
Meryl, she showed up. So did Donphan, I believe.
That Donphan was in the movie.
Yeah,
remember-
Donphan was
I
in the
remember
movie,
in
and
the
I'm like, who the freak is that guy?
I remember seeing a DVD of the Gen 2 anime, and I see this bird looking that was I think it's Blaziken, and I was like, who the heck is that? Yeah, I know. There's Blaziken.
Oh,
was
yeah,
in-
Blaziken shows up at the very end of
Yeah.
Gen 2. Yeah.
It's like, what the heck is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
They use the anime, not as much anymore, but back then they used the anime a lot to, like,
Introduce
reveal
stuff.
or introduce
That's
new
kind of
Pokemon.
cool.
They don't. I think the last like ones they really did that with was like Munchlax in Gen 3, was at the end of Gen 3, and then it went into Gen 4.
Also, the Pokemon movie uses was it Dunfan?
Yeah, Donphan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Skylar was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be getting to that, and I'll do my best to kind of bring up like lore/trivia. I'll try to bring up a segment about that too. But for these first episodes, there was no like lore/trivia. I guess I got one I can think of when we get to it, but it's not like everybody typically knows that if they know Pokemon. But I guess not everybody might not know Pokemon, so I guess I will bring that up when we get there. I don't have a name for that segment, but we'll see when we get there. Anyway, episode 1. We start out with our boy, the boy that's going to be with us for the next 3 years or so. Ash
Yeah.
Ketchum finally turns 10 years old, and he is about to set out on his Pokemon journey. But before he goes out on his journey, he has to get a Pokemon, and he's got a choice between Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle, and he doesn't know what to pick. He's just excited, and his mom comes in and says, "Boy, you gotta get to bed. What are you doing, Ash? Go to sleep. It's 11 o'clock." And then I just died when he says, "I can't sleep, Mom. I'm too excited." He's like, "Well, okay, well, watch TV." She turns on the TV. I just like,
Now we won't go to sleep.
yeah, it's like,
Good job, Mom.
That's when my mom always saw us late. It's late. Go to bed. Here, watch this Adult Swim show. Actually, you could be like, here, watch.
Toonami.
Yeah. No, I was thinking like the opposite. She could be like, here, watch PBS documentaries. And like it's like to put me to sleep.
That's kind of what it
Yeah.
was, because
Yeah.
it went from like him watching Pokemon battles to watching Professor Oak just talk about the start.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His mom just put on the PBS
So it was
channel.
a big
Yeah.
brain play.
That actually worked. Never mind. Maybe she wasn't as dumb as I was thinking she was. Anyway, so we go to the next day. Ash finally wakes up after in dream picking up his Voltorb alarm clock and throwing it against the wall, shattering it, thus not waking up when he needed to. And so he heads out the door in his pajamas, late to get his Pokemon. He finally gets to Professor Oak's lab and asks Professor Oak, is there a Pokemon? I need a Pokemon to start my journey. And he says, "I'm sorry, they're all gone. No Bulbasaur, no Charmander, no Squirtle. You can't get anything." And Ash asks one more time, "Is there anything else that you have? Can I have anything?" And Oak says, "Okay, I've got this defective one. Would you like this, I guess?" And Ash is just happy to finally get something. So he is acquainted with Pikachu, who is a very unique and different Pikachu. Doesn't really like to be in his Pokeball. Kind of
He's the $1
Henri.
million Pikachu.
the $1 million Pikachu.
$1 trillion.
$1 trillion.
How
He's-
much is this franchise valued for?
Billions.
Billions.
I don't
not
think
$1 billion
billions.
Pikachu.
Was it like 90 billion or something?
I have no idea.
I'll guess we'll have to look that up.
I know it recently got passed by Winnie the Pooh. I think it was Winnie the Pooh,
How?
which is interesting because I think Winnie the Pooh recently went out of copyright or something. Like it went into public
The-
domain, which might be why
the
it was able to
books.
surpass.
The books did like Disney specifically
Yeah.
copyrighted the image of Winnie the Pooh with a red shirt,
Uh-huh.
but everything else.
Free game.
Yeah, free game. And I think Tigger was.
Did they call it Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, you can call it Winnie the Pooh. It's basically.
So yeah, I wonder if that's why they're able to pass Pokemon.
It's kind of like
all
how
these other people did
it's kind of
stuff
like
with
Disney. They own a Thor with like a black shirt and like these gold circles.
The Chris Hemsworth Thor.
The Marvel Thor.
Yeah,
but not like they don't own the Thor. You can make him whatever you want.
The property,
Yeah.
the character, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ash gets this defective, ornery, rude, angry Pikachu, and is said, okay, here, go on your journey. His mom brings him his clothes, his extra underwear. Professor Oak gives him some rubber gloves. I think it was Oak that gave him the gloves. It might have been his mom, actually. But oh no, it was his mom, because it was a part of the stuff he could do his laundry with or his dishes with, and he just pulls them out, and that's how he carries Pikachu around. He got himself a rope, tied the Pikachu in a rope, and is dragging him along with the rubber gloves so he doesn't get shocked, because Pikachu sure definitely did a lot of that shocking.
Yeah, it's now higher, $2 billion higher, but the Winnie the Pooh is, but Pokemon is still $71 billion.
Wow.
Insane.
Shout out to the little Pikachu for doing that. Anyway, this Pikachu is kind of a jerk to Ash, and that's kind of like the trend for episode 1. Is everybody's just a dick to Ash the whole time.
Even the Pokedex is a dick to Ash. It's such a freaking snarky little Pokedex.
Like Gary's a jerk, Professor Oak's a jerk, Pikachu's a jerk, the Pokedex is everybody hates Ash.
Ash is like, dang, my mom's the only one that likes me. And also, I thought it was hilarious how, I think you mentioned it when we were watching, was Gary's there with just his freaking entourage. Everyone,
he's got his harem.
There's like grown adults there that are like, yeah, let's go cheer on this 10-year-old kid. And then everybody leaves with Gary and it's freaking Ash, and then a couple background characters that don't even move. They're just there. It's like, dang, Ash is really in the gutter, dude.
So Ash has started his journey. He's heading out, and he wants to be a Pokemon trainer, wants to be a Pokemon master.
He wants to be the very best.
The very
like
best.
No one ever was.
Hold on. I guess we'll talk about this in the episode, because I was going to bring up the intro. We forgot to talk about the intro. Maybe we'll talk about it at the end or next episode or something. I don't know. We'll get to that. Don't worry. So Ash wants to be a Pokemon master, and what do Pokemon masters do? They catch Pokemon and they train Pokemon. And Pikachu's not helping. Pikachu won't fight the Pidgey that he's trying to catch, and so he tries to catch it by himself. He can't do it. Pikachu laughs at him, and he's dejected. He's kind of just sore. Yeah, Pikachu's laughing so much at him. He just couldn't. Pikachu's a dick, dude.
Everyone is. Dick to Ash Ketchum.
So after the Pidgey attempt, he sees a Spearow, and he throws a rock and hits him right on the noggin. And Spearow gets, it's a classic, like, cartoon, like, brrr, and you see the goose egg rise out of its head. And the Spearow flies off and tells its friends and family that, hey, this kid hit me in the head with a rock. Let's go mess him up. And they attack Pikachu of all things first. They start attacking Pikachu for no reason. Pikachu didn't do anything. And Ash even points that out. Says, Pikachu didn't do nothing. He didn't try to hurt me. He grabs Pikachu and they go running. They go running to hide. They end up in the ocean. Not the ocean. They end up in a river. I don't know where the river is, but it was just there. They fall into it. Misty, of all people, reels them out as with the fishing rod. And I don't know why they. I just it's one of those moments. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Yeah. One of those anime BS logic, whatever. So Misty's got a bike there too. So Ash steals her bike to go save Pikachu, because Pikachu's really hurt. And while they're on their bike heading out, the Spearow are in hot pursuit behind them. The rain comes in, of course, and the thunderclouds start building. You gotta have everything. All the bad stuff has to happen right now. And just as the Spearow about to close in, Pikachu realizes that, hey, this kid actually, he's trying to protect me. He's trying to stand up for me. So I'm going to do something for him. We'll look out for the homie. He jumps up, does a big old super thunderbolt, basically killing all of the Spearow around him. And they pass out on the ground. Both him and Ash both pass out. And they look up at the sky as they slowly fade in and out of consciousness. And they see this mystical, magnificent golden bird flying in the sky that one person that will not be named called Articuno, and that
Wait, I
ends
thought
the
it was
first
Moltres.
You called it Articuno.
Are you sure?
Yes, because I said I would have given you a pass if you called it Moltres, but you didn't.
I swear I said Moltres.
You said Articuno. I'm sure.
Are
of
you
it.
sure?
Yeah.
It doesn't look anything like Articuno.
It doesn't. That's why I was shocked.
I'm pretty dang sure I said Moltres. I mean, this person that shall not be named said Moltres.
I would have given them a pass if they said it, because then it would be the same type and everything, fire flying. So, no, they said the ice flying type. Articuno. No. But that's the end of the first episode. Ash and Pikachu are dead on the ground. This is where you get many of the weird spin-off theories, like the coma theory. Ash is in a coma the whole season. All of these crazy things basically spin off from this. But that is episode 1 of the Pokemon anime.
So I had a question real quick too, because the narrator rolls in at the end of every episode, sometimes in the beginning too. Actually, probably both from here on out. But is that like an old anime thing to have narrators?
Well, I don't know if it's an old anime specifically, but it definitely doesn't show up much in the new Pokemon.
What about like just classic anime thing? Did they have narrators in like Dragon Ball?
Yeah, well, the dub they did. I'm pretty sure in the sub they also did. Like, yeah, they always have like long titles like a new enemy, Vegeta appears. Like they always have that.
Well, there's always that last time on Dragon Ball Z.
I don't think they ever really had. Well, sometimes they'd have recaps, but it's like wouldn't be like cartoons where it'd be like previously on Thundercats, and but like instead of like I think play the intro and then kind of like they wouldn't say previously, but it would show clips because kids aren't dumb enough.
So it was just like an American
Yeah.
cartoonized thing.
Yeah.
I might have been in Pokemon because I'm thinking like Yu-Gi-Oh never had a narrator, but like I feel like Pokemon probably just did in general. I bet it did have a narrator in Japan too.
Well, that narrator's very nostalgic for me. You hear his
That
voice,
JoJo
was-
has a
yeah.
narrator.
I'm just like, dang.
Oh yeah, JoJo's got a narrator.
Yeah. It's like
It's not super old though. It's like 2011.
well, I think only the first 2 parts had a narrator. Everything else,
Oh really?
yeah. After part 3, there's no narrator. They killed the narrator in the back.
Nice.
Jeez.
Okay, well,
Actually, no. Part 4 had a narrator. Never mind. I think after part 4, I'd have to look this up. I don't know.
now we are on to episode 2. So it starts off with Ash and Pikachu not dead or in a coma. We don't know. They're heading to Viridian City to get Pikachu some help because he's kind of dying still. Ash runs into Officer Jenny. She stops him. She is talking about. I'm sorry, I'm reading this.
I can tell. I was just like, this seems like the notes that I wrote. I look over and you're just staring at the screen. I'm like, this guy.
Am I not supposed to use it? Am I supposed to use my notes?
Well, you're supposed to remember.
Oh,
The notes are there so you can like jog your memory, but not to read directly off.
definitely
the page.
there. Yeah. So Ash runs into Officer Jenny. She's like, "There's people running on the loose. There's some thieves trying to steal Pokemon. Be careful." Ash is like, "Okay, whatever." They get to the Pokemon Center. Misty's still there. She's complaining about her
Chase
bike.
him like a freaking
Like a
the
psycho.
Mr. T. Mr. T.
Well, this
Mr. X.
at this point she's like carrying the bike
Yeah.
over her
Yeah.
shoulders,
Which
and it's
is-
just fried.
Yeah,
it's torched.
rusted, and it's gone. Bike ruined. But yeah, so they're in the Pokemon Center, and then Team Rocket shows up. They're trying to still heal Pikachu. Team Rocket shows up, and there's some skerfuffling going on.
Skerfuffling.
We get the classic Team Rocket intro.
the first time.
Yeah, the first
Isn't
time.
this their first appearance too, or did they?
No, they didn't appear in episode 1.
Yeah.
This is their first appearance.
And also Jesse, it's
James.
James has a different voice. Jesse's always a male name, and I remember girls used to be named Jesse, but as I grew up, more boys were named Jesse.
Really? I grew up
Yeah.
thinking I grew up thinking girl named Jessie because of probably Team Rocket, to be honest.
But
as well.
as I grew up, it's like Jesse's more of a. I guess now I'm thinking when I think Jesse, Jesse, we have to cook.
See, when I think of Jesse, I think of our friend. But I have an
Yeah.
aunt named Jessica, so I equate that to
Yeah.
Jess or Jessica. I equate to a girl, but
Yeah.
Jessie is
We
definitely a
should just
male
call her
name in my
Jess.
head.
We never call her Jessie.
We could just call her their Japanese names, Musashi
There's-
and
and-
Kojiro.
Yeah.
Satoshi.
Satoshi.
There's
Musashi
also
is
a show
Jesse.
called Jessie, and it's about a girl named Jessie.
Kojiro's James.
She
Yeah.
married the drummer for 21 Pilots. Anyway, yeah, that was one thing I noticed too when James started talking. I was like, whoa, that's not the voice I remember. Because
Yeah.
did you look up what episode it is that it changes?
I think up till episode 8, it's a different voice, and you can tell it because he's not like as dramatic. It's like in the later versions, he's more like this. Oh,
See, I
He
believe
sounds
that.
like Pegasus.
I believe that
Yeah.
voice actor is the same
Yeah.
voice actor for Brock.
but
Yeah.
in the early versions, he's more subdued. He's like.
He also sounds like he's also
Yeah.
Pegasus in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yu-Gi boy.
Yu-Gi boy.
So, yeah, Team Rocket's there. Pikachu's still on the mend in the Pokemon Center, and stuff's going down. And then Misty decides to pull the ultimate gamer move, which takes us to our first segment.
Let's go.
We're calling it the Brain Dead Award. So Misty decides, she's like, "Oh, quick, Ash, get Pikachu out of here. I'm gonna distract him." And Ash is like, "What? Why? What? Okay." So then Misty, in all of her brilliance, she uses all of her Pokemon trainer brain cells and throws out a Goldeen right onto the floor in the middle of the hospital.
So the worst part about this is like, okay, throwing a water type out, yeah, it's not great. Throwing a fish, yeah, that's even a little bit worse. But then she just doesn't have it do anything. She throws it out. It flops on the floor for a little bit. She goes, "Good job, Goldie. Good turn." It's just like, make it do something. What's the point of
Say
doing all
do splash, and then it does nothing. It's like, oh, that's useless. Come back.
She didn't even say to do splash.
Yeah.
She sent it out, and it just flopped around. She's like, "Cool, nice, back." She literally does nothing for the entire episode. It's so bad, dude.
Yeah. But then that kind of takes us into the ending of the episode where there's a whole freaking bunch of Pikachu, and I think they use those Pikachu to power the hospital. And there's just
They're like the backup generator.
yeah,
Pikachu.
literally, yeah. But there's just
The Pokemon on life support don't die. But they needed to go kill Team Rocket, so those ones are dead.
yeah. So our Pikachu is on top of all of these bodies of Pikachu, and if you look at their faces, some of them are just like freaking straight faced, and some of them are smiling, and it's just like, yeah, it's just derpy as hell. And then Pikachu uses this atomic thunder blast and nukes the entire hospital, and nobody dies.
I wanted to point out as well that they blew up the entire Pokemon Center, and like nobody gets mad at Ash for blowing up the Pokemon Center. He literally destroyed public property, and there's like, okay, bye. Have fun on your journey.
Yeah, and nobody says anything.
They don't care.
You
They're
know,
just like, whatever.
we would have been mad for causing massive property damage, but you got rid of those terrorists, so that
Yeah,
takes a
I
lot.
guess. Like, sure, they saved the day, but man, it's like the superhero logic where they
Yeah.
destroy New York, but as long as they save the day,
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
thank you,
Yeah.
Avengers.
You killed
the city is destroyed, millions are dead, but at least you stopped the aliens.
Yeah. Got some dead Pokemon in the back.
Yeah.
Just saw our generator Pikachu.
Yeah, and then the episode closes with Ash and Misty and Pikachu heading on out, still on their way to Viridian City, and they see a Caterpie.
Oh, they go in the Viridian Forest.
Oh, they're in the Viridian Forest.
They're in the Viridian Forest, and that's where they see a Caterpie.
See a Caterpie.
Yeah.
Because they're still on their way to Viridian City, correct? Or was that Viridian?
was Viridian
Oh, okay,
City, yeah.
so
They're
they've
headed to
left.
Pewter
They've
now.
left.
Run away to Viridian
Whoa.
City.
Spoiler alert, that song doesn't come till later. I don't think they actually played in the episode either.
Yeah.
But it's when they go back to Viridian later on in the series.
We could probably do one more.
Yeah, let's do one more
Okay.
episode and we're going to take a break after that next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, Skylar, what have you done?
God!
Oh, goodness gracious
Edge.
me.
Damn
oh
it!
my.
Don't worry. Oh,
We got it. It was Microsoft Edge.
why do you have a chroma pulled up on Edge? Okay. Anyways, yeah, guys, we have our Google Doc pulled up on Edge.
Let's go.
All right. Anyways, the episode starts with. I'm just kidding. I'm not.
We should
So-
I should actually put the names of the
Yeah.
episodes instead of just saying episode 3, but I don't know.
Episode 3. I get you, Caterpie.
We're going to do better at taking notes.
We're going to
'cause
do better.
There's also another
Yeah.
segment that I'll mention at the end.
I don't want to
I do-
do this either because this was annoying to write up.
Yeah.
Oh, this? Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
we just do like a.
You got to do a better job of remembering.
Also, it's
So don't
Also, we
watch the
will-
episodes
yeah.
2 weeks in advance.
We should
Yeah.
we should just watch the episodes the weekend before we
Yeah,
record.
yes,
if we're
exactly.
trying to be smart about it.
Just watch all 5 that like.
That way we'll
See,
have them
guys,
fresh
we're
in our
learning.
memory.
We're learning. No, I do a pretty good job of keeping notes on my phone. That like
yeah,
I
and I got
understand.
notes too. But I was just
all right,
like,
guys.
What's nice about this though is how you've got the segments integrated in. But
yeah, that's true. Okay, go for it, Thane. Sorry, we keep cutting
all right,
you off.
episode 3. Ash, he tries to Caterpie pulls up like in his coop. no, he sees Ash. He's a cute little Caterpie, and he catches it. It's like, yeah, my first kill, catch.
Oh gosh.
yeah, but, sorry, never mind. Maybe you're gonna say it. Sorry.
And Ash's like, oh, hey, look, Misty, I got a Caterpie. And then the Caterpie comes in and rubs up on her leg like a kitty, and she's like, ah!
Like a kitty.
Yeah, it rubs up like a cat kitty because it's a Caterpie. Ah. And Caterpie, throughout this episode, he wants to be a homie, a friend, try to depress the girl, but the girl's like, ew, it's a bug.
She roasts the crap out of Caterpie to his face. Or her. I think it's a boy, isn't it?
And then
It's a boy.
yeah, I guess it doesn't really
male
specify.
Caterpie.
It doesn't specify genders.
Well,
for most
I guess
of them.
it doesn't specify. I just assume because later on it hooks up with
Aren't-
that pink Caterpie that I
aren't
assumed was a
gen-
girl as a kid.
Aren't genders a Gen 2 thing or is it Gen 1?
Yeah, they're not technically in Gen 1 except
Yeah.
for the Nidos.
Yeah.
Because Nido ran male and Nido ran female.
That's how they different. The either and female could have got a different name, but
yeah, it's
yeah,
literally the same
yeah.
Pokemon, just with
yeah.
gender differences.
And then Pikachu's like, "I'll be your homie."
yeah.
It's like, "I'll be your homie."
The freaking bro montage between
Yeah.
Pikachu and Caterpie.
Yeah.
though.
I love how, I love how Misty's just a dick to Caterpie, though. It's like, if you're a Pokemon trainer, you're supposed to love Pokemon, and she's an absolute ass to Caterpie.
Yeah,
It's like-
why don't you go back in your ball, Caterpie, you ugly piece
Yeah,
of
it's
garbage?
Like, where's my newspaper? Just like, I would. By the way, I'd never crush a caterpillar because they become beautiful butterfly.
But you'll kill a spider any day of the week.
Spiders are Satan's creatures. They would, if a caterpillar wanders up to a spider's web, it kills it. That poor little caterpillar got
It's the circle of
munched,
life.
man.
So Caterpie brings up my first segment, which is stupid Pokemon noises.
Caterpie. I can't even do
So
it.
this segment's gonna be anytime a Pokemon just makes the stupidest noise ever, and that doesn't really necessarily fit with what it is. And for today's episode or today's segment for this time around, it's Caterpie. Caterpie's noises are dumb. He just goes like, "I'll do my best," but it's more of like a.
Doesn't he try to
He
say
never,
his name?
he never tries to say Caterpie.
Oh, it's like Caterpie.
No, he doesn't do that. That's the thing. That's what makes it so. And then, like, when he's like with Pikachu looking at the freaking moon, he's like, and he's like doing, no, Pikachu's doing backflips. he's just going off. Just like, what the freak is this thing
So,
saying?
was this before they decided to just make the Pokemon say their names?
No, because Pikachu says Pikachu.
True. But
I
Pidgeotto
think
doesn't
maybe the
say
dub.
doesn't say Pidgeotto.
Pidgeotto
Maybe
goes.
the dub was confused. It's like, should we say the name? Like, it has
Later
a
on,
different-
we do see Weedle, and Weedle does go. Weedle.
Yeah.
So
Also,
it does say its name.
earlier the Pidgeys and Spears were like, ah, ah. Or I guess Spirit wasn't Spear, like Spear.
Yeah, Spearow goes. Spearow!
But Pidgey just goes ah, or something.
Yeah, yep.
So was this just an oversight then?
I don't know,
Yeah.
dude. It's just one of those stupid Pokemon noises.
And later, spoiler, Gyarados goes.
Whoa, that was an evil.
Well, that's
sound.
almost Snorlax, but at least Snorlax sees his name goes.
But yeah, he goes Lax.
It's like Snorlax just is that one Pokemon that's always on drugs.
But that'll be a recurring segment for me. So I'm gonna be looking out for all the stupid Pokemon noises. I'll let you know when I hear them. And Caterpie is today's stupid Pokemon noise.
Speaking of catching Caterpie, he at least succeeded the first time, but he didn't succeed at Pidgeotto.
And
But
then-
he caught it. Well, actually, he tried to catch a
Well-
Pidgey, But he caught
He
the.
didn't catch the Pidgey, but now he caught the Pidgeotto.
yeah.
Misty roasts Ash and Caterpie right after that, and I think this is gonna be the our biggest roast of the episode segment, where Misty says to Ash, he's like, "Why didn't I catch that the Pidgey? Is it a Pidgey?
Pidgeotto.
Right.
Pidgeotto." He's like, "Why didn't I catch it?" And Misty's like, "Well, duh, Caterpie's a low-level Pokemon." Just like, God damn, Misty.
She says she goes on. It's like it's
Yeah.
a bug. It's a weakling.
It's a weak Pokemon.
Damn.
Caterpie's just like, oh my, I can get a break here.
Oh my God, why you doing this?
Wait, don't you mean it's going?
Yeah, it's going, and then it pulls a Glock to its freaking brain.
Oh my gosh, Caterpie!
The Pikachu's
No.
like, no, bro, no.
I'll do some backflips for you, Caterpie. It'll be chill. It'll be chill. I swear, those two got high.
Don't listen to
and
that
started
hoe.
looking at the moon and
Yeah.
just doing flips and crap.
Don't listen to that hoe. Me and Ash are here for you.
Anyway, he catches the Pidgeotto.
Yeah.
Then what thing?
He questions, "Wow, I couldn't catch the lowest form, but I could catch the highest one. What?" And yeah, my bro, rest in peace, my bro Pidgeot skipped over completely.
No, we get Pidgeot later.
Oh, okay. Well,
Pidgeot's the highest
yeah.
one. Pidgeotto's the middle.
oh yeah, that's kind of weird. Like you think Pidgeotto with more syllables, but I guess not. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm thinking Final Fantasy where it's like fire-a-ga.
Nice.
And then Team Rocket, and then sorry, I'm trying to read the notes. Team Rocket comes. They come into town, boy, and they want the Pikachu. Here's a spoiler. They always want the Pikachu. They never stop wanting the Pikachu.
In episode 2, they say at the very end that we're not gonna stop until we get the Pikachu. That's what their lifelong quest is to get that Pikachu. That's what they say.
And also another spoiler, they're like they're like grunts. They're like the lowest grunts in Team Rocket.
Rip the homies.
Yeah.
Prepare for trouble.
And
And
Ash
make it
is like,
double.
"Ah, hell no, not these guys again." But they Pidgeotto.
Look at him
Pikachu.
read and
I'm
just
sorry, yeah.
stuttering the words.
I'm trying to
See,
remember exactly what happens in the episode, but
This
the
is
notes.
the end. It's the end of the episode.
they fight
yeah,
Team
yeah.
Rocket
Yeah, they fight Team Rocket. It's kind of weird wording it.
because
But they can't.
Pikachu and Pidgeotto are all effed up because
Yeah.
of the fight earlier. When
Yeah.
they had together.
It's like he's weak. They're weak, but then Caterpie's like, "I'm not weak. I'm strong, mother effer." Then he kicks Team Rocket's butt.
Somehow, dude. I don't
Somehow.
freaking know.
He used his string shot.
Yeah, but
Then-
like Team Rocket's just so incompetent
Yeah.
that they died. Like they died to a string shot and a tackle. Like come
Yeah.
on, dude. That
Well,
was
yeah, he
pathetic.
string shots them and then
Yeah, and he turns
launch- yeah.
freaking like Meowth into a snowball.
Yeah.
It's just like yikes, dudes.
So you admit it. Caterpie's not a good Pokemon.
I don't think it's a good Pokemon. No.
That's why he
Bro,
evolved.
no! All you Caterpie stands out there, stay strong!
Hey, listen. That's why he evolves into
Oh,
Metapod.
let's go.
So he
In
becomes
which,
hard.
if you were a little kid, you were immature and you named it Penis, because penis do harden.
My childhood.
There you go. Boom.
I never did that. But I also never played the game, so.
I always thought
Yes.
Metapod looked ugly and scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a moon.
But
I
we'll
didn't like
see.
its face.
Yeah, it was
That-
like
that
I
did something to me.
couldn't
It looks
tell
really
if it was.
pissed off. It's got
I
RBF.
couldn't tell if it was like a crescent face where it's like face was looking inwards or looking outwards.
I
And then
definitely.
you look.
I
It's
think
like an
it looks-
optical illusion.
I think it looks this way, so its back curves this way.
It might be an
and I think
optical
its eyes
illusion.
look that way.
I think
What do you
Sky's
guys-
right.
And
What
I'm
do you guys
only
think?
basing that off of on my Pokemon Stadium game. There's a mini game where there's these rocks getting
The
chucked
Metapod
at you.
harden.
Yeah, so Metapod and
And it looks this way.
yeah, and he looks yes, that's it. What's the other guy's name? Metapod and
Kakuna.
Kakuna, Matata.
Kakuna.
Yeah, I think Metapod, actually looking at it both ways, I think it's like some kind of weird optical illusion, because when you look at one way, it looks like its eyes are slanted, but when you look at it, they look like they're slanted the other way. So I don't know, maybe.
Well, do you guys want to hear about episode 4?
Yeah.
Too bad. We're going to take a break right now. So you're going to have
Got
to
him.
wait just a half a second
You
until we
got
can get into episode 4.
Yeah, they wait half a second.
Yeah, for us,
Gosh.
we got to wait a little bit longer.
Why can't
'cause
we be
camera's,
them?
Camera's tired. Okay, we'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, everybody, we are back from our break, and it's time to go into episode 4, the Way of the Samurai and the Metapod. I don't know. That's how it's called. It's like the Metapod duel or something. I don't freaking know. But
Dueling metapods.
in this episode, it's funny because of the joke you said earlier.
Yeah.
The pee-pee joke.
Oh.
Anyway, this
Sword
episode,
fight.
we start out still in the Viridian Forest, and Ash is going around with Misty and Pikachu in tow, and they come across a Weedle. And like we said earlier, Weedle goes, Weedle! So it says its name, actually. It's not a stupid Pokemon. To be fair, they're all stupid Pokemon noises, but this one's not as dumb.
They're all dumb animals.
No, they're smart. Shut up.
Ash decides he wants to catch this Weedle, just like he caught the Caterpie and the Pidgeotto before, and he enters a battle with it. Mid-battle, a samurai-looking kid shows up and says, "You're from Pallet Town, fight me."
And he's just an atomic douche, by the way.
Oh, totally, yeah. We'll get more into how much of a jerk this guy is, but for right now, Ash is just like, okay, I guess. I mean, Weedle ran away because you caught me off guard. He yelled at me to fight you, so I guess I'll fight you. And so they fight. The samurai guy sends out a pincer, and Ash sends out his Metapod. Oh, I think he started with something earlier before that. I don't remember. I just know that he fought with Metapod there too, and Pincer picked up Metapod, and Ash told it to use Harden. He used Harden, and Pincer's little spines on its pincers, I don't know what to call those little protrusions. They broke though. And then the samurai guy's like, okay, that's too much for Pincer. Come on back. So it brings Pincer back and sends out his own Metapod. And they have their little Harden battle. Their hard-on battle.
Nice.
Who can get the biggest hard-on? There's all your wiener jokes for you guys. That's the best you're going to get out of me. And this is interesting because it's like a very iconic moment in the Pokemon anime. Like, a lot of people know the anime exists, and if they know the anime exists, they likely know this specific scene. The two Metapods just going at it by not doing anything. I know that sounded sexual. I said I was done with the dick jokes, but I guess we're back at them. And Ash and the samurai guy, they're just sitting there constipated, just going along with their Metapods. Misty's done with it. Her and Pikachu are freaking sunbathing. Like, they're just done with it all. And mid-fight, a swarm of Beedrill break out, and the samurai guy says it's because of that Weedle you let get away. One of the Beedrill swoops down and picks up Ash's Metapod and flies away with it, and the rest of the group, the gang, they run off into the forest and go to the samurai guy's house, and they hide in it for safe protection, for safekeeping. They see all the freaking Beedrill freaking pew, 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 pew through the freaking door. Like, that's sketchy.
Yeah, they could die.
It's their freaking bum. Like,
can't isn't it like
they're
canon?
big too.
Well, isn't it canon that their stingers, their poison kills?
Oh, I don't know.
The Beedrill.
You'd have to read the Pokedex entry for that one.
He might be a dick to me for not knowing it though. It's like,
I think their poison is pretty dang bad.
Pretty lethal.
Yeah, it's pretty up there. So, inside of the samurai guy's house, Ash is just like, freak, man, I left Metapod. And he was like trying to get it with the Pokeball. He just couldn't hit it because Beedrill kept like swooping and dipping and diving, trying to get out of the way. But the samurai guy is like, yeah, dude, you are a bad person. You're a bad Pokemon trainer. Your mom's a whore, and I hate you and your dad. And then Ash is like, bro,
Yeah, man, why you gotta do that?
He didn't say that.
That's just like, it's day 3 or 4 for me, man. Like, get off my nuts.
And like the worst part about this, it's the samurai guy's fault that he lost the Weedle to begin with. Oh, dude, it just made me so mad. I felt for Ash, and the samurai guy's a dick, and he's a terrible person. That's where we're gonna end that. Anyway, the next morning, Ash heads out to go after his Metapod, looking for his Metapod. He's looking for the Beedrill hive or swarm or nest or whatever you want to call it. And right when he's about to approach it, all of a sudden Team Rocket jumps him, and they start getting into a kerfuffle, as Skylar put it. And somehow Ash slips away and essentially sicks the Beedrills on them. And the Beedrills start attacking Team Rocket, and they go running away, trying to hide from the Beedrill. Ash runs in, picks up the Metapod, swoops away, and as he's running away, he trips, dropping his Metapod. Mind you, the Metapod's kind of pissed at him. He's kind of like giving him the evil eye. Like, Metapod's already given the evil eye just in general. Oh, by the way, they go, Metapod. He's already given him the evil eye already. And, like, you can kind of tell there's some weird tension between this, like, inanimate, like, chunk of thing he's holding and Ash. And Ash is, like, saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you. I tried to get you. I couldn't do it. The Beedrill's going to murder me, and I don't want it, And he drops Metapod on the ground. And then a Beedrill, another one, comes swooping in to take out Ash. And Metapod's like, freak, man, I do like this guy. And he jumps in front of the Beedrill, takes the hit for Ash, and Ash is all broken up about it, but all of a sudden a light starts appearing from inside the carcass, and out pops out a beautiful Butterfree. It evolved finally into its Butterfree. Oh, I guess there's one little mention. The Pokédex said that this was the fastest evolving of its species. Like, it's the fastest Caterpie to evolve into a Metapod. So it's probably the fastest Metapod to evolve into a Butterfree that was recorded. So that's interesting.
Severe trauma evolves certain Pokemon faster.
It does a good job. And, like, granted, I think there's some trainers later on in this season as well as, like, throughout the series that kind of, like, try to capitalize on that. That's a big foreshadow for Generation 4, the Diamond and Pearl era. We'll get there. But, where was I? Oh, yes. It turned into a beautiful Butterfree. The samurai shows them and says, okay, I'm not a dick. I'm going to be cool to you now because you got a cool Butterfree. We're chill now. And they leave. And Misty and Ash head off over to Pewter City. There was one thing. I remember bringing it up earlier that I said I was going to bring something up at one point in the show because of a segment or something that I was going to bring up.
I'm a beautiful butterfly.
I feel like it was like episode 2 I was supposed to bring it up, but I don't quite recall. Oh, I remember. It was supposed to be like a Pokemon, like, lore facty kind of thing. I was going to mention the whole Arcanine. Like, when in episode 2, when they get to the Pokemon Center, they show the legendary birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. And as Arcanine in the bottom right corner. Early on in the development of the Pokemon games, Arcanine was essentially labeled as a legendary Pokemon. And even in the Pokédex, it's labeled as a legendary creature or something like that. It's not technically a legendary Pokemon, but they essentially had it planned to be one.
It doesn't even have like the 600 stats.
No, yeah, it doesn't have legendary stats. I imagine when they decided to make it not a legendary, they probably just dropped the stats.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of this Pokemon media was kind of developed in tandem with the games near the end of it anyway. Well, I can't say that either. I'm not gonna say that because the Pokemon anime definitely came out about a year or so after the games came out. So it's one of those early development things that was kind of just left over, and they just left in the anime for some reason or other. But that's why you see Arcanine in that. But anyway, going back to episode 4, that wraps it up. Actually, that's the end of it. We got a nice Butterfree. They leave the forest and they head over to Pewter City, and we'll find out what happens to them in Pewter City in a couple of seconds.
So I'm trying to find, because I think from what I remember, they used that samurai guy's image in Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, yeah?
But
or just the hat, maybe?
It might have been just
It might have been the bug catcher in the first
I looked up the bug catcher, and it's got the kid with
the sombrero in the net.
Oh, yeah.
Him. But I can't find...
That's the classic bug catcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bug catcher Jerry.
I'll have to look it up on my own time, but I'm pretty sure that
Charmander murder his team.
I feel like they used the samurai guy because his face looked very familiar, but it also could just be I've seen the anime before. So, but then the other thing I was going to ask was, is this the only time that we see the Pokemon's evolution actually happen to where like Butterfree comes out of Metapod's corpse?
So that's one of those other early weird things in the early development of these Pokemon medias. is that they don't have a lot of this stuff set in stone. They don't really have like how evolution works in the Pokemon set in stone. And so with Butterfree, or with Metapod turning into Butterfree, it essentially, and you don't see it, they get rid of it off screen, but it essentially would leave a shell of the Metapod, and that's what you see. You saw it come out of the Metapod. That's not how it works nowadays in the anime. If like a Kakuna or a Metapod were to evolve, the whole shell will just shapeshift into the Butterfree. And that's what they have it like set in stone is now. I think back then they were just kind of basing it off of how real life animals and insects work, and so that's kind of just what they did. Yeah.
So it's since been retconned then.
It's since been retconned, yes.
Cool.
I believe that's the only time you'll ever see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also speaking of retcons, well, isn't this a general thing they just said where it's like Pokemon, the Pokeballs don't shrink them, the Pokemon shrink into them?
Well, that's not a retcon thing. Technically, that was in one of like the lore books that came out around the same time as Generation 1. It just had never been translated until like the last like year or two.
Yeah.
And like it was just so obscure that nobody really ever paid attention to it. But yeah, technically the Pokemon are what's shrinking them to fit inside. The Pokemon are shrinking themselves. Every Pokemon has this power to shrink and fit inside of the Pokeball. The Pokeball is not what's shrinking the Pokemon.
It doesn't really make sense, but whatever.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird Pokemon logic things.
Well, the last episode that we're going to talk about today, episode 5, starts off with Team Rocket.
I remember the name of this episode, actually. This is Showdown in Pewter City.
Showdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Team Rocket sets a trap, and they fall in it because they're dumb. The squad keeps walking, and then they see a dude selling rocks.
Real talk about the Team Rocket traps, though. Did you ever try to make one of those as a kid?
Like digging a hole?
Yeah.
That's like a classic Looney Tunes thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is if I ever did try something like that, it was like in a sandbox where I dug a little hole, put some leaves over it or something.
In reality, like it happened in Vietnam where they like have like leaves or figs over it.
That got dark.
And then the soldiers would fall into it, and there'd be like bamboo shoots at the bottom.
Like spikes?
Yeah.
Did you ever try to make one of these little traps before?
No.
Oh. I definitely did, but mine didn't have bamboo spikes in the bottom of it. It was just a little.
That's also an anime where like they'd have a fake trap and it's like, it has bamboo spikes at the bottom.
I always remember seeing that in like Tom and Jerry or something, or just classic, you said, Looney Tunes stuff. But
yeah, I would try to make this a lot. I would see Team Rocket do it, and I just thought, man, that's so freaking cool. I don't know why that was the coolest thing in the world. I remember I couldn't ever find big enough leaves, so I would just use paper instead of the leaves. So I dig a relatively small hole, maybe like the size of like a 2-gallon bucket or something like that, like relatively small. I put some sticks across it, and then I put the piece of paper on top of it, and then I put dirt on it because you couldn't see it, and then I just hurry and step on it, and like, look, I got myself. It's so stupid, but I have very vivid memories of doing this.
Oh, that's funny.
Actually, I remember the smaller holes. They would like put feces on the bamboo shoots. It wouldn't kill them, but again, their system
and stuff.
Yeah, get gangrene and stuff.
Freak.
Yeah.
Thanks for that World War II lore bit.
Yeah.
I guess
No, that's
after
Vietnam War.
Vietnam War, after World War II.
Yikes.
Yeah, anyway, the squad, they meet a guy named Flint who's selling rocks.
Sorry.
And then they
That was loud. Sorry.
they keep on heading towards Pewter City. They get to the Pokemon Center, and they hear about the Pokemon League gym battle. And of course, Ash just gets a boner to fight anytime he hears about it. So what does he do?
Wouldn't this be like something that they would first mention? It's like, oh, you're gonna do league fights, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do league fights. But this is like the first time they mention it.
Well, technically no, because the very first shot of episode 1 is the Pokemon League.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's initially introduced.
But that's like not Ash's goal. It's like his goal is like the broader of, I'm gonna catch them all.
Yeah. At the beginning, anyway.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Comparing this to the Pokemon manga, this is literally like shot for shot right here. Like, you go to Pewter City and you learn about the gym challenge. Like, both Red in the manga and Ash in the anime both learned about it really a lot more in Pewter City. So it's very interesting. That's where they decided to teach the viewer. But I guess it makes sense just because it's, it's there. It's right there.
Doesn't Flint's rock stand get destroyed?
I don't know if it gets destroyed. I just know like they're sitting on their rocks and stuff like that. And Flint's like, get off my rocks or pay for them.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Like, those are genuine rocks.
Yeah.
Those came from Mother Earth.
A Geodude crapped one of those out.
So Ash and Misty get in a fight as per usual. They fight like brother and sister. So Mash and Isty. Misty gets pissed and just leaves. Ash goes to the gym challenge to fight Brock. Ash, I believe, only has 3 Pokemon.
Yeah, but you can only use 2.
And he's got Pikachu, he's got Butterfree, and he's got a bird. He's got Pidgeotto. So he goes in there, and Brock is just a one-trick pony. He's like, oh, I see what you've got. I raise you an Onix. It's a giant worm.
Well, it's just funny that, like, of the 3 Pokemon Ash has, only one of them isn't weak to rocks, but it also can't damage the rocks very well. So it's just so silly.
Yeah.
And he uses Pidgeotto. If anything, he should have used the Butterfree. The Butterfree could have like sleep powder or something like that. But he sends the bird out, the one that's really weak to him.
Just gets dunked on.
Dunked on him, dude.
So Ash loses, and he's a little bit salty and sad because he sucks, and Brock roasts him. And then Ash finds Flint, and Flint's like, hey, listen, Brock's not a dick. And then they spy on Brock through a window. They watch Brock, who's taking care of all of his siblings. Did we write down how many there are?
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's like 9 or 10.
I want to see if I wrote down the exact number.
Okay, so if you don't remember what they look like, just imagine Brock, but then like scale him to a lot smaller and then slightly bigger sometimes, and just put different clothes on him to make him look like boys or girls or whatever.
Was his mom a rabbit or something?
His mom's probably dead because she had so many kids.
Yeah.
We got to look this up. I feel like this is like very pertinent to the segment that I'm going to bring up at the end too. Of how many siblings does Brock have?
It's got to be like, I keep saying higher numbers because I'm thinking 12 now. I think I started with 8, but now I'm up to 12.
Brock is the oldest of 10 children.
Oh, it is 10, okay.
5 brothers and 4 sisters. Yeah, you're not wrong, though. Like, it's freaking just Brock.
It's just Brock.
It's just Brock.
Oh, shoot. That's like a newer picture of him. That's from like a different season. That's not the original season. You can tell because the animation doesn't look bad.
Roasted.
Does he go back to his family after Generation 2?
I don't know when he does. Do you think these people care about spoilers? Minor spoilers. If you actually do care about spoilers, just double tap the thing a couple times. Brock is basically the side companion until the end of Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl.
Oh yeah, he stops being. He's in Generation 3. I don't know. I didn't think he was.
Doesn't he leave for a bit though? He takes a break.
Yeah,
probably
because
it was May and Max that joined them.
No, he was there the
Tracy.
entire time for that. Tracy takes his place for a little bit at the Orange Islands arc, which is technically still during the Indigo League.
Yeah.
So Ash sees Brock's family, and Flint is just like, yeah, Brock's. Did we find out what happened to Brock's mom, or is he? I
don't think he ever said.
Yeah, he's like, Brock's mom's gone and his dad's gone, so Brock's taking care of these 10 kids all by himself, and he's the gym leader.
And he's the freaking gym leader. Dude.
Yeah. So Ash is like, okay, yeah, you're right, and then him and Pikachu train a little bit, and then they get ready to fight Brock again. So they go back into fighting Brock. They're getting dunked on, and then Brock's like, okay, we're gonna be done. Okay, I'm kicking your butt. Let's stop. And then the sprinklers turn on. And then while the sprinklers are on, Ash has a freaking super villain moment where he's just like, ha, I got you. And then he tells Pikachu to use Thunderbolt while Onix is just drenched in water.
So this is I'm gonna bring up my second segment of the episode. This is my actually segment where I talk about things that they did in the anime that don't necessarily work in the game. So in this, we see Pikachu use an electric-type attack on Onix, which shouldn't work in theory because Onix is a rock and ground-type Pokemon, and ground is immune to electricity. However, you can make the argument that because of the sprinklers went off, Onix was essentially soaked.
Isn't there a rain mechanic in Generation 3?
Yes, but that doesn't change their typing.
Yeah.
So you could make the argument that that Onix became soaked and became a water type because in Generation 5 in Black and White there was a new move introduced called Soak, and if you used Soak on the opposing Pokemon, their current types were essentially null and void, and they became a water type.
Wow.
And so call it retconning, call it backtracking, fixing, call it random anime BS. It shouldn't theoretically work at the time that they thought of this idea. But in hindsight, with all of the knowledge we have now, yeah, we could say it worked. It's still kind of dumb, though, that they decide. And, like, this will be a common thing. Pikachu will just shock whatever he feels like, and it'll always work on them until, like, season 2 on. And I'll bring him up every single time. I guarantee you. You'll see him a lot.
Yeah, so Ash cheated. He's a big freaking cheater.
And he doesn't even care. He's just like, oh, freak, I'll do it. Yeah, let's murder this. Let's murder the snake rock.
Yeah, I'm going to cheat. So then Brock's siblings show up, and they're like, Ash, stop fighting. You're a dick. They don't say that, but
what caused the sprinklers to go off again?
One of the electric shocks hit something and started a fire somehow, and then the fire turned on the sprinklers.
Yeah. So then Ash thinks he's being the bigger man. He's just a cheater.
No.
Yeah. And then as they leave, Ash is leaving. Brock runs after him, gives him the badge, and then Flint, the rock guy who's selling rocks, he does the big reveal of the episode, as if you couldn't already tell. He pulls off his disguise and he's like, "I'm Brock's dad." Hoo hoo hoo. And this brings
just
up
like Brock,
yeah,
just a little bit taller.
This brings up the Brain Dead Award again for this episode.
Brain Dead Award number 2.
Yeah, Brain Dead Award number 2 is Brock's dad leaves his family. I don't know where the mom is.
And he's only like a few feet away.
Oh, we can see them whenever it feels like it. Yeah.
But he leaves his family. There's 10 kids. Leaves them in the care of Brock to be a Pokemon trainer.
Mind you, Brock's probably only 14.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, Brock's still a freaking kid. Anyway, yeah. I think he wins Terrible Dad of the Year award.
Oh, really? Really? And we're going to see a lot of terrible dads in this series, I bet.
Yeah.
He's number 1.
He's pretty up there. Definitely pretty up there.
Yeah. So after that, Flint's like, "Yo, Brock, go hang out with the homies. Go on an adventure. I guess I'll be dad. I guess I'll take care of my kids."
It's just so funny because as soon as Flint says, "Yeah, you should go on an adventure," Brock instantly, "Okay, yeah, F you, I'm gone. I'm effing gone."
And then he gives, sorry, go ahead.
He leaves a long list and says, "Oh yeah, Susie likes this." And
yeah, there were some freaking goofy ones in there too. I can't remember though. I'd have to go back and re-listen to what he was saying. But he said a lot of like, "Really? These kids are that freaking picky?" So anyway,
the last thing I wanted to bring up, looping back to the fight with Brock and how Ash cheated. So not only does Ash just be like, "Okay, time to cheat," Brock also stopped the fight.
Yeah.
Pikachu had the swirl eyes showing that it had fainted. This was after the fight that Ash decided to shock the crap out of Onyx. He's just like, "All right, let's do it. It's go time." And like, I don't think it was Ash being sad about the kids around him. I think it was literally him realizing, "Oh, F, I'm kind of a cheater." He did say stop because it does have a small flashback to Brock going, "All right, Onyx, stop." And he's just like, "Yeah, I kind of cheated." Granted, it's day 4, so it's okay.
Yeah.
He can cheat if he wants to.
Well, and Brock roasts him in the episode where he's basically like, "I feel bad for your Pokemon because you're bad." And then Ash is just like, "God damn."
Everybody hates Ash, dude.
Everybody hates Ash. So.
It's so funny.
Yeah, they end up leaving and they start heading towards Mount Moon.
Let's
and
go.
That is where episode 5 closes.
Let's go. That means next time we're going to talk about episode 6 through episode 10, which should encompass Mount Moon, a little bit of Cerulean City. Heck, we might even get to Vermilion City with Lieutenant Surge and the SS Anne. Oh, freak! I got childhood trauma stories with SS Anne episode. We'll get there when we get there, but oof, yeah, I remember that one a lot. Very similar to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Drowning Sonic. Yikes.
Oh, frick, I remember
Nightmares.
SS Anne. I remember there was the episode they had, the VH, and it's like, "To be continued," and then the VHS ends. It's like,
There's nothing else after VHS.
But then for my birthday, I got the VHS continues. I was like, yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening to this first episode of our Pokemon Watch Along. We'll be doing these every other week. So next week we'll have our normal anime Watch Along episode, which will be Samurai Afro Samurai, which is the first 5 episodes in the movie. And then after that, the week after that, we'll be going over the next
Only
episode
5
of Pokemon.
episodes.
Oh, yeah, the only 5 episodes and the movie. Yeah. But that does it. So we'll see you guys then. Hope you guys have a good one. And always have a great life.
Bye.
We'll see ya.
Pikachu.